We're going to be talking to kids throughout the district that are feeder schools to Queen Elizabeth High School. And it's all about transitioning from kindergarten to grade 6 to grade 7 to 9 to 12, and how we can make sure kids are successful and graduate. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about today is what do you think some of the barriers to your learning are? And how have teachers removed those barriers? What have they done to encourage your learning? And then what kinds of things have you done so that you're removing your own barriers or advocating for yourself? So we'll start with the first discussion question. So again, what are your barriers to your learning?
Well, probably the biggest thing in each class is the fact that I can't see the different things that are on the board or that teachers write on the board. Reading, especially reading for a long time, so it's like a long story or something, it gets tiring a lot faster. And especially also because I read slower than most people, so it would take me a longer amount of time to read a certain amount of text.
Unless if it's something new to me, I couldn't understand. And then, if I read, the normal things that people usually read, it's good for me. But the moment I see, literature, big words, no, I couldn't do it.
I find that I always get frustrated with myself, almost so I'm sitting there in math class trying to figure this out, and I feel like I'm going to cry because I just don't get it. But then once I get frustrated with something, then I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore.
Definitely the most difficult one is stressing over finals and worrying about doing my best. It's difficult, because finals are a big time of the year. Definitely remembering the information I learned the whole day, because I don't remember very well.
Okay. What about in terms of organization?
I'm afraid to open my mouth.
One thing I have a very hard time with in a lot of my classes is staying engaged. If we're going through a particularly long section of notes, or if we're doing something that doesn't lend itself to being very interesting, I have a very hard time staying focused on that concept.
Some teachers, they're always doing the same type of learning every single day, every single class for the entire semester, and you're just going to class. You're learning something different, but you're doing exactly the same thing.
One more thing. When teachers don't have the time or don't take the time to work individually with people, a lot of the time when I struggle, I need an authority figure or someone who knows exactly what we're supposed to be doing to set it out very clearly. For me, this is what you have to do. This is all the stuff you need to include in it. And if they're busy, if it's too big of a class too, then there's not enough time to go to everyone. Right.
The things teachers do to help me overcome my barriers is definitely going over the subject more than once and reviewing it and giving me one-on-one time so that I can soak up the information and then definitely know what I'm learning.
I remember in my biology class, our teacher uses a lot of different tools necessarily to teach us. And though at times it may seem kind of weird, why is she teaching us with a puppet and a ball, But I can still remember her doing this, and I remember exactly what she was demonstrating, giving cues for all the senses, looking at something, reading something, hearing it, having all of those different things that you could really remember a day.
So even if I can't see what they're writing, if they say what they're writing, it makes a much bigger difference than they might think, because I can hear very well, so I hear what they're saying exactly and helps me keep up with what's going on. Well, I want to say with my exams, for example, I'd usually not do them in class. I do them in a different room with certain equipment that would help me read them better.
Simple things so that we don't feel like we're just throwing ourselves against a wall or we're caught up in some institution, so that there's more of a human side to it.
Okay. So relationships.
Yeah.
What do you think about the relationships that you've built with teachers and stuff?
I love it. There's Hugh, there's Miss P, there's Miss K. It's amazing. I love it. It's like family. We become family, That way you can actually want to come to class every day, right? If you don't like the teacher, you just keep skipping.
I like when teachers try to take try to take the class outside of the classroom and like show us the reason, not the reason, but like how could we use this in real life.
Well, if we watch a video, it'd be good to have captioning and writing things on the board so I can visualize it. Or sometimes I can use like a phone or an iPod and I can write messages that way.
Great.
Well, just listening to the students' ideas helps the students feel like they're actually learning stuff. And
Okay, so the last question we wanted to deal with is what have you done? Like, so how are you advocating for yourself, letting teachers know what you need to make your learning better, or what strategies do you use to help you learn? So just throwing that out there, yeah.
So I've taken matters into my own hands. I've gone to Math Help to get that extra help that I've needed in math, and it really worked.
I honestly just go to my teacher and be like, I have no idea what you were saying to me. Like, it whoosh.
Surround yourself with people who will influence your learning in a positive way. Like, you have to have a kind of a support group in your class, because then you can go to people and be like, I didn't understand that. What do you know? And maybe they've seen a video on YouTube or something. Like, you should.
Kind of like what you were saying earlier, when something's kind of not hugely interesting to me, I try and think about it in a way that like I make connections to what I want to do with my future or whatever, like how it's going to relate to this or that, and I sort of make it more interesting in some way.
Well, yeah, well, a lot of what I do to help me in my situation, it would actually help everybody. Really, most kids could benefit from.
What do you see in your future?
well, seeing a registered nurse, if it doesn't work out, teacher.
I'm so glad to be a part of this support group.
Yeah.